Hello everyone, here we are at the cutting table for installment number 8. Today we're going to spend our last installment looking at a sew and flip corner. You'll encounter this many times, so I'm just going to show you on this block here. We have it right here and it's repeated 4 times in this block, and the other 4 times we have a 4 patch, which you know how to make now, and they're here. And in the center, we have the 4.5 inch accurately cut square. So how do we end up making this? I'm going to show you. So first of all, we would have that accurately cut 4.5 inch square. And then we're going to put 2 accurately cut squares on either corner. So we need to draw a line on either, on the wrong side from corner to corner, and make sure that you're getting right into the corner on each one. And we wouldn't necessarily go to the sewing machine and with it like this, but we would take it and we would sew one side on, and then we're going to check that and make sure that we are accurate with our seam. So what I'm looking at here is, as I'm orienting this onto my foundation square, which is right side up, this is right side up, this is right side down, I'm going to pull this right down into the corner and make sure that it is very, very accurate. And if my square, my small square is not accurate, it isn't going to line up. If my large square is not accurate, it's not going to line up. I will perhaps put a pin in here, just so when I take it over to the sewing machine, it doesn't move on me. Because see how that can distort so quickly? So you might want to put another one on the other side as well. So when you take it over, now careful, see I'm taking my pin out and I'm pulling this over so I don't have distortion. So now I can take it over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew my seam from this edge over to this edge. Now there's a width involved with any kind of drawn line. So because I'm going to be pulling this tip over here to this tip, I want to make sure that I'm favoring the left-hand side of this line, because the stitch needs somewhere to live in there. When I bring it over and I press it, it has to have enough area in there that that stitch line has somewhere to live in that bend. So I'm going to favor the left-hand side of the line. I'm not going to sew directly in the middle of the line. I'm going to favor the left-hand side. So what does that look like? That is going to look like this. So now I have sewn this from there to there, and you see it's a nice straight line. So you may want to open up your presser foot to something that's a bit more of an open toe than a closed toe, just so you can see that you're going on the line to the left edge of it. So then I'm going to bring this over, and it almost looks like I've gone down the middle of the line there. I didn't really favor it, did I? So what happens then? I bring it over, and this will happen to you the first time you do it, and you'll bring it over, and you're going to see that, yes, that did work. And you're all happy, and you're so surprised. But if you weren't just over just a little bit, look at this one. This one is not going to be quite right. Even though it looks like it is, when I fold this over, it's going to be a bit short. See? Along the edge here, like I have not had any pleat in here or anything, but when I pull it over, I'm just not quite right. See, it's shy here a little bit, because this bottom piece is going to be my safety net. I'm going to know that when I pull my fabric over there and I'm nice and flush all the way around, that I have a nice accurate corner. This just isn't going to be good enough. What I want is this one, which I was kind of looking at and I'm going, oh, I don't know if that's right or not. But it was, because see, it's nice and accurate all the way around. And when I turn it over, I would give it another press this way, and I can see that I have a nice corner in there. So then I would take it over to the sewing machine and I would just put the other one on on the other side. So I would have this one, and I'm going to pull that over and press that over like this. And when I'm pressing, I'm taking my iron, I'm just pulling it over and pulling this quite gingerly. Like, don't yank it or else you're going to end up with a wing. So just pull it over to the edge, place your iron down and let it do its work. If it isn't quite enough, give it a little shot of best press. Whoop, excuse me, best press. And it'll bring it over just a little bit more. Then turn it over and give it another press from the other side. So then you would do the other side of the square, and maybe that's a different color. So then you'd be able to pull that one over to the other side. So I'm just going to do that here and show you what the pressing looks like now that I've told you about it. Okay, let's go back to that first one. Okay, now I have my iron, it's nice and hot. I'm going to set my seam, and then I'm going to take it very gingerly, pull it over to the corner, and I'm just going to set that, and that's looking quite good. And if it isn't quite right, I can take my iron and just encourage it just a little bit more so I'm getting the full width. Then I'm going to go to the other side, set my seam, and do the same thing over on this side. And if it feels like it needs just a tiny bit of encouragement, like I said, I could just spoof it a little bit with some best press, lay my iron down there. See, I'm not grinding or waving, as I keep saying. There we are. So this is looking pretty good. Looks like a nice straight corner environment here, and it looks nice and straight, and there aren't any wobbles in here. There aren't any little pleats or anything like that. So now I can take out the bulk on either end of these, because now we have 2 layers in here that I don't want, and 3 including this one. So I need to take that out. So I'm going to lay my ruler down here at 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm just going to cut that out. Now this is a little bit of waste, but you can use these on another project. And the accuracy that you will have doing it this way will be just such a pleasure, and then things will really measure the right size as you're putting them into your block. Okay, so now I've taken out the bulk, so now I'm just going to square down the unit. Again, my 1 and 1, and I bring it up to the corner and see if I have a 4.5 inch square unit here, looking pretty good. Got a little bit to shave off around the edges, and that's exactly what I want. Oh, nope, not gonna go there just yet. Gotta move that right up there onto the fabric, because we need to keep our ruler on our fabric all the way around. And take your time, because it will save you a lot of time and frustration when you go to put the blocks together. Okay, now here I have brought my 4.5 over here. I have my dot in the corner. My fabric is just on the line there, and I'm going to go up and around the corner, and there I have it. I have my 4.5 inch flip and sew, pardon me, sew and flip, because you're not going to flip before you sew. So I'm going to sew, set the seam, press over, take out the bulk, and there we have it. We have a 4.5 inch unit that can go into the block. So thank you very much for being with me. I'm going to sign off for now, and I will come back with a little bit of a goodbye with my face, with my smiling face. So thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.